These
things
are
caught while
creepy
camping.
TikToks that
This
will
man
make
in
you
blue
rethink
walks on
your
screen
whole
and crouches down
reality.
behind the logs before taking off into the tree line. As he walks back, he takes a lot of breaks before using a stick to aid him in walking. It's unclear who this person is, how old they are, or what exactly happened. It seems, at one point, that he's an older man, as he struggles to walk, similar to how an older person might. However, that doesn't last for long.
Does this brand new video prove that Bigfoot's real? So over the week,
I'm back, it's your boy Fittie, and today we're gonna take a look at this compilation together. Fun fact, there's actually been reported a Bigfoot sighting like around, I think 7 days ago. I know I'm late, but we're gonna take a look at that today in this video. Let's break it down, see what's really going on. Is there really Bigfoot? I don't know, but just remember that these chains, this sunglasses also are free for a limited time only, so check the link down below. I'm just saying, like, by the end of this month or next month, no more free. We just have an overloaded stock right now, so we're trying to get as much out as possible. But if you like content like this, just subscribe and remember to like the video so it gets pushed to more people. Let's aim for like 1,000 likes this video. I also want to give a big shout out to Brenda for the $2 donation, Patrice for the $2 donation, and Jacqueline for the $5 donation. I just want to say thank you guys for all the donation. If you want to be in this part of my video, drop the super thanks. Love you.
To anyone who may be triggered by these topics, or anyone who's faint of heart, please keep scrolling. Serial killers from every U.S. state.
Part 15.
Iowa. Carol Edward Cole. Although Carol Edward Cole's crimes were not committed in Iowa, he grew up in the state that seemingly shaped his life into a serial killer. While in Iowa, he lived with his mother, who would often beat him. There, he grew to hate his mother and women as a whole. Between 1948 and 1980, Cole strangled and killed 13 women across multiple states because, he said, it felt like he was killing his mother, according to the Sioux City Journal. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. He refused to appeal because, quote, it would be unbearable to stay here any longer. He was executed in 1985.
Nah, that's crazy. That actually reminded me of the new Suicide Squad that I watched a couple days ago on Amazon Prime. Shout out Amazon Prime. There was this guy that shoot like colorful balls out, and he was like, yeah, it's really easy for me to hurt people because it reminds me of my mother. I don't know why, but that reminded me of him.
Disturbing moments caught at gas stations. This
Wow.
video seems to start like any other late-night convenience store. This woman may have been freaking out before, but she was uncomfortable being filmed by the man with his camera.
Trying to question me. Never wait outside for your dumb ass.
She gets up in his face, asking if he's gotten enough.
Do you have enough? Do you have enough?
She tosses the phone out of his hand, claiming she could sue him. He's quick to pick it up, but she doesn't stop. She continues yelling at him from across the store, calling him names and saying they couldn't do anything to her.
I don't give a you dumb as hell. They gonna lock you up for lying.
She clearly believes herself untouchable because she doesn't rush out, taking her time to continue insulting the man, who, to note, doesn't react to any of her baiting behavior before finally exiting.
Respects to that dude. He saw that she was bugging out and tweaking. He didn't do much more than just recorded it. He didn't say anything. He didn't put his hands on. Respect to that dude.
A team of firefighters show up to a fully engulfed house, but thankfully the family is already outside and safe, or so they thought. After realizing they weren't going to be able to save the house, they decided to help stop the spread of the fire by dousing the surrounding areas with water. When they made entry, they looked around to see if there was anything they could save for the family since the house was a total loss. As they went into one of the rooms, they noticed a crib with something inside of it. Heartbroken, they see an infant that is not able to be saved. Suddenly, a feeling of rage and anger comes over one of the firemen. As they begin to get ready to leave the house, he sees something in the corner of the room. There was something staring back at him with nothing but a cheek-to-cheek smile and no eyes. He immediately rushed out of the house and begins to have a panic attack. Later that month, he turned in his badge and equipment and told his chief that he wasn't able to handle the stress of the job anymore and would be leaving. The man was so shook up after this incident because he personally knew the family and they did not have an infant child.
What to you looks wrong with this picture? Before we get into this picture, I'm just going to preface that the woman who took this, Eliza Sherman, she was not harmed, but this was possibly the riskiest photo that she may have ever taken. After repeatedly hearing her doorbell rung, she assumed that it was probably a prank, like kids or something who were in her apartment building. While this woman was texting her husband and describing what was happening, she sent this picture of what she thought was an empty hallway, saying that every time she opens the door, there's no one there. Except she was wrong. In the dark at the end of that hallway was not a kid playing a prank. It was a man who had been ringing her bell. It's actually her husband who caught this, and he ends up calling it out. They call police, and they take the photo and they digitally enhance it. But even with a clearer visual, whoever this was, they do not know. He could have been someone who lived in the apartment building. He could have been someone who broke into the apartment building.
I'm being honest, that looked like Michael Myers without his mask. You can't tell me it doesn't. Like, look at this resemblance. Like, tell me it doesn't.
Do you know that taking a selfie could end up saving your life? Jen and a couple of her friends were getting ready to head out for the night. The women did their makeup at her apartment, got ready, and before they left, snapped a couple photos of themselves. The women went out and had a great night, and midway through, Jen decided to look through some of those selfies they took. She was swiping through the photos when she noticed something strange. In the background of all of them, you could see inside of her closet, and it looked like something was in there. So she zoomed in and saw this. Jen immediately dialed 911. Police arrived to find and arrest the man that was hiding in her closet, awaiting her return later that night. Police told her that she's lucky she took those photos. So before you head out next time, take
some
selfie.
pictures.
Seriously, take the selfie.
Legend or lie, Sensa Tunnel. In Kingsport, Tennessee, there's a tunnel with a dark history. Legend has it the tunnel was named after the man who owned the land named Edward Sensa. One day a hobo came to Kingsport, Tennessee looking for work, and the kindly Edward let him into his home. However, later that night, he caught the hobo stealing his wife's jewelry and confronted him with a hunting rifle. The hobo picked up Edward's youngest child, his infant daughter, and used her as a shield as he fled the house and escaped. The hobo then drowned his daughter in the same tunnel that was named after Edward and was never seen again. Edward never was able to recover from the loss of his daughter, and he began a slow descent into madness. One day, Edward completely lost his mind, and he killed his entire family, thinking that by doing so, he could reunite them with his lost child. He took their bodies to the tunnel and then took his own life. He thought by doing this, he would make his family whole again. Nowadays, Sensa Tunnel is a hotspot for paranormal investigators and curious travelers. People who visit the tunnel say they can hear the cries of the infant and the screams of the Sensa family echoing inside. And then there's the rumor that if you go into the tunnel and park your car and turn it off, it won't come back on, and the ghost of Edward will come for you. Do you believe the story of the haunted Sensa tunnel, or do you think it's all a lie?
Man, I will say that the part where he picked up that dude's kid, bro, that's sad. Like, why would you do that? Just to get some gems, bro?
This is what would happen if the world lost oxygen for
1 hour.
Up first, with the oxygen gone, you would struggle to catch your breath, and your heart would start beating in overdrive, and you could expect excruciating chest pains. Next, the combustion process in vehicles wouldn't be possible with no oxygen. So any way of transportation that wasn't electric would automatically fail. This also means that planes would fall from the sky and millions of cars would be left abandoned. Oxygen acts as a special binding agent, so any building made of concrete would collapse instantly, causing cities to be destroyed and millions of deaths happening. Our ozone layer is also made of oxygen atoms that bonded to create the ozone, so Earth's protection against UV rays would completely disappear. Earth would then get extremely hot, and on top of that, Earth's crust would crumble until there is nothing left.
So he's pretty much saying that we're just gonna die. That's pretty much what he said. But one thing I will say though, planes wouldn't immediately fall out the sky. They would probably just glide out of the sky, you know what I'm saying? Because planes, they can glide without their engines.
We need to talk about this photo. This was the last photo Charlie Noonan ever took. Charlie traveled all across America during the 20th century collecting stories about the paranormal. His wife Ellie told reporters that Charlie once met a farmer in Oklahoma. And this farmer told Charlie a story about a strange old woman who lived alone in an isolated property nearby. But even though she looked like an old woman, she wasn't a woman at all. According to the farmer, people believe that she was something different entirely, something inhuman, hiding her true form behind a headscarf that was never taken off. And she always had a large dog near her. After hearing the story, Charlie became very intrigued by the old woman and wanted to know what her secret was. So he took off to Oklahoma to try to find answers. Later, Charlie's wife Ellie was notified of Charlie's disappearance, but eventually she got a hold of Charlie's camera. She developed the film inside the camera, hoping to find clues behind his mysterious disappearance. And this was the only photo in the camera. Follow for more stories.
To anyone who may be triggered by these topics, or anyone who's faint of heart, please keep scrolling. Serial killers from every U.S. state.
Part 14, Indiana.
Herbert Baumeister. Herbert Baumeister led a double life. He lived on a farm in Indiana with his wife of 25 years and had 3 children. What his wife didn't know was that Herb also cruised gay bars at night, picking up young men. Eventually, police started showing up at the Baumeister home, asking questions about missing boys. They later found 11 bodies, a mere 15 feet away from the house. As the cops circled in on him, he panicked and died by suicide without ever facing trial.
I will say this though, at least that guy wasn't like a Ted Bundy, because I knew Ted Bundy, he was so weird. This man Ted Bundy would just kidnap little female girls and just like, nah, that's weird, bro.
Horrifying things caught while camping. This man in blue walks on screen and crouches down behind the logs before taking off into the tree line. As he walks back, he takes a lot of breaks before using a stick to aid him in walking. It's unclear who this person is, how old they are, or what exactly happened. It seems, at one point, that he's an older man, as he struggles to walk, similar to how an older person might.
What the
However, that doesn't last for long. When he rolls down the hill, he manages to not only get up after wrapping himself up, but he does so without using his arms at all.
Every time he went into that crouching position, I always thought he was a gnome. I was like, yo, what is this gnome man doing? That was a weird video.
You know why this photo is one of the most disturbing photos to ever exist in the world?
No, it's just a bunch of guys smiling.
So this picture was taken of a group of survivors that survived like this crash of a Uruguayan plane. And what if I told you that they're smiling for a very disturbing reason?
Okay, whatever it is, they look really happy.
They were stranded for 72 days. And keep in mind, they had no food. So they had to resort to cannibalism, which is eating humans.
What?
Yeah, and that is why they're smiling, because they just ate a human. And you can see in the photo, like on the ground, there's like a human spine on the ground.
Wait, that's a spine?
Yeah, and eventually 16 of them got rescued. But what's so crazy is that there was a hotel 18 miles away from where they were. But since they decided to stay in one spot and had no desire to go towards the town, they were forced to have to eat humans because they had no food.
So you're telling me they could have walked 18 miles to get food, but they decided to just sit there and eat human.
But you also got to think about how far 18 miles in the cold. Like, sure, they could have walked, but which direction 18 miles are they walking? Backwards, forwards, side? In my opinion, if they knew about the town and then did that, they're bugging. I don't think they knew about that.
These are scary cartoon truths that'll terrify you, part 20. Okay, so Rick's Morty is not his original Morty. According to this theory, he abandoned his original Morty, as seen in the title song sequence of the pilot episode, where Rick and Morty are both running from giant frog monsters, and Rick then jumps through a portal, leaving Morty to fight off the frog creatures himself. Fans theorize that this Morty actually fought off the frog creatures, and went on to become evil Morty. This is actually insane, so let me know what you think about this.
I low-key would not doubt that theory. I feel like that actually might be true. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.
To anyone who may be triggered by these topics, or anyone who's faint of heart, please keep scrolling. Serial killers from every U.S. state, Part 13,
no shit.
Illinois. John Wayne Gacy, aka the Serial Killer Clown. Dubbed the Serial Killer Clown, Gacy killed 33 boys and young men in the 70s. Since he worked as a clown performer for children's parties, he would often kill his victims while wearing the clown costume that he called Pogo the Clown. Gacy would sexually assault the boys, strangle them with rope, and then bury their bodies under his house. He was found guilty on all 33 counts of murder and was put to death in 1994.
Yeah, nah, John Wayne Gacy was one of the weirdest MFs of the world, bro. I'm not gonna lie. The things that he did, yeah, he should have been, like, got murdered for that.
Something terrifying is happening to Maria. One day out of nowhere, she became very sick.
She kind of looks like her.
But it isn't any illness we've heard of before. It's something much worse. This story is called A Doll's Hellish Burial by Junji Ito, and the ending is crazy. The story begins with Maria's father looking out of the window in their house, thinking my worst fear has come to life. And it seems like he's referring to some kind of disease that's infecting people. And now it's gotten to his daughter. Then Maria asks her father what's the matter. And as he turns around, he sees Maria staring at him blankly. Her jaw hung open lifelessly, and her joints along her arms and legs are splitting. Her parents then remember something they heard on the news. There was a study by an organization saying this disease is called early onset doll's disease, and it's spreading rapidly across the population. Maria's mother then hugs her, realizing that her daughter can now only stare back at her, unable to move, as her skin has solidified to a porcelain-like surface. But soon the situation got so much worse, because the disease kept spreading. All over the world, parents decided to let their 6 sons and daughters rest peacefully, if you know what I mean. Though Maria's parents were sure that they would never abandon her no matter what happened. But soon they would change their mind, because one day they went to visit Maria again, and what they saw shocked them. At this point, Maria had turned entirely into a doll, but still the disease would not let go. The most terrifying part is even as a doll, she kept changing. Until Maria's parents decided they could never let anyone see their daughter like this.
Oh no.
Follow for more stories.
Man, the whole time I'm watching that video, I'm like, is this a real story? Or is it fake? And then I was like, nah, it's probably fake. What the fuck is that? What?
Nada, van. Ojo, el enox. Tú no se alcanza a ver con el ojo. Estás hablando de 9 kilómetros de distancia.
Estoy intentando y no, nada.
Mira, ven, lo que tu ojo no ve, el monocular te lo enseña.
¿Misery qué?
En lo que en la Misery, creo. Sí, casi está en la cima. Casi está en la punta.
I've been looking at videos like that. I'm like, bro, if I'm being honest, I don't know what that was. Could be a human. Like, we might be thinking it's giants, but is it really giants? What do you think? Put it down in the comments.
You're working late night shift when this happens.
Okay, you can do this. Just ignore the statues. They're not demons. It's fine. You got this. You got this. Oh God. Oh God. You're not gonna come alive, right? Right? You're all just standing and chilling, right? Right? It's fine. This is fine. Just a few demons. It's fine. Oh, cool. They reflect in that. That's cool. That's cool. This is fine. I'm fine. It's fine.
Does this brand new video prove that Bigfoot's real? So over the weekend of October 7th, Shannon Parker and her husband Stetson were traveling by train between Durango and Silverton, Colorado. They were looking out their train car window when all of a sudden they saw something moving on a passing mountainside. Whatever it was big, hairy, and was walking on 2 legs. Check this out.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down.
Here it is again, zoomed in and slowed down. Now, Shannon and her husband claimed they weren't believers in Bigfoot and cryptids when they submitted their video and their sighting to the Denver Gazette, but this may have changed their minds. They also managed to take this zoomed in picture as well, which shows a little bit more detail on the face of this thing. Now, this could easily be a man in a suit just playing a prank, waiting for passing trains, but maybe it's the real thing. What do you think?
Over the weekend, I did see that. I know it says like October 7th, but then it's been like a week later. But I was watching, I was like, bro, that's gotta be a guy in a suit. Like, someone was probably just out there just messing around, and they're like, oh my God, it's Bigfoot. I don't really believe in Bigfoot. Maybe he is real, but I don't really think so. I really think that was just some random in a suit. If it's not, and I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. Let me know your opinion, because I am actually interested in that story. Just remember to subscribe and like the video if you like this video. Remember that these are free for limited time only, boys, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.